right, so I'm taking out the RS. Just got done on a 5-hour drive in my GT3, so I'm interested to see how much different it feels. You know, a couple of things that I'll probably notice will be, one, you've got a bit more front end grip, a little wider front end tires, a little wider track front and rear, and then you have the intakes on your ears on the left and right here versus the GT3. So I'm really interested to see. Now, I've ridden in one, I haven't driven one, so this will be the first time I've driven a GT3 RS. But his is, John's is stock. I think he's stock exhaust. Let me see. Yeah, he has the stock center muffler. He has sport buckets, white on black. And this is essentially my dream combo. This car is my next endeavor. And I don't know if I'm gonna do a 0.1 manual, or I'm sorry, a 0.2 GT3 manual, or try to get an RS. But this is the exact spec. Carbon ceramics, simple stitching. The only thing that John doesn't have is the leather dash. But again, that's not really a big deal. All right, so sport exhaust, that's all you need to do in a GT3 RS. I got the steering wheel set up. I want to bring the seat up just a tad. I'm ready to roll. So again, I don't intend, or didn't intend this to be a spec video, more of just a driving impression video. I mean, there are hundreds of videos to watch online that talk about the different specs. Let's do axle lift up. It definitely sounds different. And I think a lot of that has to do with, now again, we're comparing a 4-liter to a 3.8. And then earlier this weekend, Sean and I sort of did a run with my race header, slightly modified GT3 with a tune. The tune doesn't do a whole heck of a lot, other than remove the CEL and maybe add 10 horsepower or something like that. But you know, this car, you know, a little more horsepower, a little more low-end torque, geared. I think it's geared slightly differently, but the biggest difference is the aero. Oh wow, the paddles are different in comparison to mine. Can't believe I'm driving an RS. So the power delivery is going to be identical. Let's go around a few turns before I make any kind of assessment here. Front end grip is, I think, pretty noticeably different. Now, John has his lowered just like mine. I don't know what to say. It definitely feels wider. I swear, I mean, we have the same tires. Of course, there are 21s in the rear. Again, I don't want to drive this as hard as I'm driving mine. It's not my car. My car definitely feels like it pulls a little harder with the headers. But yeah, again, I feel like the front end just feels different. very similar. The other thing, I'm gonna slow down here. I want to get the mirrors adjusted so I can see the wing and the hips, the intake. No wonder these guys are so much faster than me. I'm trying to keep up in a lowly GT3, and I feel like this is a little bit as easy as the GT3 is to drive. This RS feels easier, and then the sound is just the 4-liter has a little less high pitch, a little more growl. Yeah, this is easier to drive. Man, this thing's awesome. Induction noise and just subtle little differences. Now the RS has a titanium rear center section. It doesn't change the sound at all. But again, this 4-liter has a little deeper, less high pitched sound. You might be able to hear it on camera. And that wing, man, that wing looks so awesome. Let's kind of twist it upward. It's so cool. But again, these cars, like, you could live with this all day. I mean, the sport buckets fit me fine. I mean, it's a little bit tight, but I'd remember first getting in, well, actually getting in the GT2 bucket seats that my buddy has in his 997 GT3. I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way I'd ever be able to have these, but you know, these buckets fit me perfectly. And it'd be nice if it was a little, maybe like an 1/8 of an inch wider. So the question is, do I keep my GT3? Do I look for a 0.2 allocation? Or do I try to find an RS? I mean, ultimately, this is the car that I want. Man, it sounds so cool. There's just a, like, if you weren't in these cars all the time, you wouldn't really notice much of a difference. But I'm noticing a huge, there's just a bit more bark to it, to the 4-liter. So again, the biggest difference, I think, is obviously the sound is a little different. You have that 4-liter, that sort of barkier, lower pitched sound, which I like more. As much as I like the sound of my GT3, this sounds even better. As I was saying, you get more induction noise, different engine sound, but I notice how much wider this car is. It feels a lot bigger, but that also makes me feel, it feels more planted. You're coming around these turns. Brakes, steering feel, oh boy. But I mean, this color combo is exactly what I want. Go for it. don't want John to watch this video of me chasing some motorcycles. I'll just shut up and drive. Oh my gosh, this thing is awesome. I'm way faster in this car. All right, let's put our thoughts together here on this thing. So it sounds different, sounds deeper, more induction noise. The front end grip is substantially different, but just the wider track in general is just, it's more confidence inspiring than my GT3. But still I mean, it's the same car with different parts on it, but man, is it awesome. It's that much better. You know, is it $100,000 better? No. Is it sticker difference? You know, is it $40,000 better? I think so. It's almost, I get the sense that the 4 liter is just more stout. Axle lift up, but like driving around slowly like this feels identical, other than the slightly different sound it's making. Oh boy, this makes, if you can get one of these things, makes life decisions even more difficult. And it's again is the exact spec that I would do.
Right.
So I got this wrong. This is not a stock exhaust. It's the factory center muffler.
Yep.
But car graphic headers,
Side.
cats, valve side muffler deletes is what's on this. So that's why it sounds different. You know, obviously the induction sound is different, right? So you can hear the intakes and stuff on it. The 4 liter isn't as high pitched.
No, it's deep.
Right, it's deeper. But you notice the track. You know, I can tell that it's wider.
Yeah.
You know, so like when you guys are going through turns, I feel like I'm holding on a little harder than the RS is.
Yeah.
And that's the that's the wider front end, I think. You know. Yeah. Now, I feel like, you know, and it's probably the Dundon headers. I think my car actually pulls a little harder. You know, because you know it's I'm probably making 15 or 20 more horsepower than these are.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's almost negligible. But yeah, it's freaking awesome, dude. This is the car I want. So now, you know, now do you get a 0.2? Do you get an RS, or do you keep an RS? If you, like, do you get a 0.2?
No, I'm
Okay,
going
you keep
0.2 RS.
Okay, that makes sense. Ay, ay, ay. Life decisions. What happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor.